And welcome to Meet the Teachers. We are the teachers here at Second Renaissance Art. My name is Sam Rubinstein, as you can see on my name placard if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. If you're watching on Instagram, trust me, my name is Sam Rubinstein, and I am here with the other teacher.
I'm Sarah Viveca, not Sam Rubinstein.
And what brings you here?
Well, I'm going to be teaching the fiction and nonfiction courses in the fall, hopefully. I'm super excited about it. And yeah.
And while Sarah teaches that, I will be teaching stand-up comedy and poetry.
Yeah.
We will also be working on a couple other things for the summer. We have scheduled open mics. We have virtual workshops with Sarah. We've got a bunch of other amazing things planned this summer.
Yes.
So I apologize about the way that we were a bit late. My thing took a little bit longer than expected, and then one of us, not naming names, took a nap.
The power nap to get here.
Clearly.
I had to get my energy up.
So we do have someone who has joined us in the audience. Hello to that person who's in the audience.
Hello.
I don't know who you are, but thank you for joining us.
Sam, this is my first live thing ever. I've never done this before in my life. This is very exciting and quite nerve-wracking. So if I start awkwardly smiling, it's just me.
Oh, wow. There's 5 people watching us on Facebook. Hello, people on Facebook.
Hello.
Comment below. Tell us how you're doing.
Yeah.
So a little bit of what we're doing. We've got events coming up throughout the summer. We have our featured artist, Mariah, who we're going to be meeting with next week. I'm really excited to interview her and talk with her. We have, what else? We have
a few workshops.
We have a few workshops. We have is it the 28th? It is the 28th.
The 28th will be our debut.
Yes.
It's my first time on camera, so it'll be exciting for all. Watch for the bloopers. It will happen.
I'm recording them. I'm going to do a little blooper reel. It's going to be great.
It's going to be so embarrassing. But the first official workshop will be July 12th, which I'll be covering persuasive essays, academic writing, kind of the how-to in the world of academia. So that should be exciting. And that will also be recorded. So if you can't get on, you'll be able to watch it later.
Yeah. So I guess what we should do is we should answer some of the world's most burning questions. And they're the worst questions, Sarah. So you're going to get ready for this.
Can't wait.
All right. So the first burning question of the world is, what do you write?
I write creative nonfiction. I'm currently working on a memoir for my master's manuscript. I go to Monmouth University in their MA/MFA program. Just a shameless plug. And yeah, I wrote poetry for a long time. And now I'm kind of entering in this nonfiction world, and it's exciting. And I also, I've been write fiction, but nonfiction's more my thing. Sam, what do you write?
Yes, I write a lot of everything, but I think the easiest answer is I write a lot of poetry. I write a lot of scripts. I write a good amount of fiction, but nothing that's good. And I think those are really my big focal points, is the scripts and the poetry. And obviously I write stand-up. So,
Any new projects?
I accidentally wrote a play about a month ago, and I've been editing that ever since. It's called The Space Between. Um, it's a one act play that's about an hour long. Um, it it talks about themes of life, death, and finding joy when there isn't
Cool.
any. Um,
No joy. No
no
joy in
joy.
finding.
You have to figure out. You have to make your own. Um, and I think the other big thing that I'm working on is I have a book that I started a while ago that I'm going to finish over the summer, and that's going to be exciting.
Cool. Starting books are hard. Continuously editing is hard. Uh, I know at least in my project, it's like, is this good? Is this not? I mean,
Is it both?
yeah, right.
Is it
How many?
objectively mediocre? Maybe.
Is it only good to you because it's about you, sort of thing?
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
So I think that's some good stuff coming up to look forward to for those who care. Um, if you are interested in becoming a featured writer, whether you're a writer of the week, an artist of the week, a poet, comedian, what have you, if you just want to be featured on all of our social media and all of our cool, groovy things, please go to secondranarts.com and click to submit. If you want to be our artist of the month, we're booked all the way to September, but if you want to be the artist of the month of October, let me know.
Halloween edition.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting a big thank you to Alec Pangia. I wasn't expecting us to get like as quick of a we want to be featured, but thank you to Alec for being that first guest and testing this with me. So next question, since I feel like it you kind of touched on it, but we didn't get to like talk about it. What do you see as your background in writing?
Well, like I said before, I have been writing for years, for as long as really I can remember. I started in the fiction world, then I fell in love with poetry. Then I studied poetry solely for 10 solid years. And then look at all those people who are watching. Hello. And now I'm kind of venturing into the nonfiction world. So I think in my core, I am a poet. I end up slipping back into the same poetic styles and rules of poetry in my nonfiction. I very much love figurative language and similes and metaphors, and so that always trickles back in, and I think that's my core. But I don't write as much poetry now than I did then. So maybe I'll get back to it. Maybe I won't, but it's good to have in your back pocket.
Who knows? So that's nice. I mean, I like you are a school educated artist, and I'm not. Um,
It's a good
I
balance, though.
Yeah, I started writing when I was in probably seventh or eighth grade. Um, Wrote all throughout middle school, high school. Took enough classes in writing to become a teacher. And now I teach middle school English and language arts. But like, I'm not like I know people who are MFA writers, and it's not for me. I used to do slam poetry and then quit very unceremoniously on stage. Uh,
I didn't know that.
weren't you there?
I was not there.
Oh,
Definitely was not there.
I
I would have
quit it.
remembered this.
I quit at AWP on stage. Yeah. But I'm a big fan of the idea of art and performance, and so I've always kind of written in that fashion, which kind of goes to that next question. What would you say is your like teaching style?
That's an interesting question. I really love like workshop based classes. I think that having just like a casual discussion about writing is important because it gets the students to feel comfortable with the words and it's not so intimidating, especially in the academic classrooms. I mean, I've been in settings where teachers are like, "You're wrong," in a creative writing setting, and I'm like, "You can't be wrong in creative writing because it's all subjective." And I think that when you set the ground at the foundation for like saying like this is a safe place, this is a place for you to express yourself in a workshop setting, and people are going to support you in any kind of experimental way you want to express yourself. I think that's the way I would want to teach my classes, and really not even talk about the work itself, but I think like understanding your process and how you get there. And I'm very big. I mean, I could talk to you for the rest of my life about process pedagogy, but I don't want to bore all of our people and make them leave. So, but talking about process in terms of writing and like looking at how you get to the words on the page, I think for me it would be my teaching style. Good question.
Good answer. Um, my answer is not that answer. My answer is very much focused on the act of breaking down the stigmas of, especially with the genres I do, whether it's stand up, whether it's poetry, there's a lot of stigma against it. Um, Especially like people are afraid of poems. Like they have to be deep. No, they don't. Poems can be as stupid as I want them to be. And I think that's the beauty of poetry. And then with stand up, there's a fear of failure, but there's also a fear of just getting up on stage and performing. And so kind of helping people get over, kind of break down those fears so that then they can kind of work out what they're going for, I think is my big thing, if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
absolutely.
Um, I always find the stigma against poetry to be really funny.
It's real.
Um, but it's also, but the thing is like, when you look at some of the stuff poets are making now, it's not like it shouldn't be. Poetry is at a point where it can be at like this very direct, straightforward, three sentences that make no sense, and then you're done.
Right.
Um, and so I think it's important to break that down.
Yeah, I definitely think that looking at foundation when it comes to like what are the mechanics of a poem, what are the mechanics of a personal essay, and I think that both poetry and the personal essay, and I'm going to talk about that in a discussion we're going to do on August 9th, talking about
Woo.
the balance of nonfiction and poetry in terms of the personal essay, because I think they're both really like an intimate part of the process, and like how much do you want to share with the world and how much do you want to keep to yourself, and how can we balance that line without hurting people and hurting ourselves.
By blurring the heck out of it.
Yes.
Um, so with that, do you want to read some things?
Oh, okay.
I mean, I can go first if you need to pick some stuff up.
Let me just, yeah, why don't you go first, Sam? And I wasn't prepared, so let me go and run through find my
We
thing
had
I want to
planned
use.
this. You were the one who said, be prepared, let's read something.
Yeah, and I was like, let me take a nap first.
Okay.
So
All
you
right.
find what you want to read, and I'll look for my thing.
I'll go first.
Yeah,
Right, Joan?
definitely.
It's ridiculous. I worked so hard. All right.
Hi, Joan.
Here we go. This is called I Imagine. I imagine. I start a lot of poems with the phrase, I imagine. I imagine myself someplace better than this. I imagine you and I in love. I imagine the world. I imagine. I imagine that I use this phrase because I like to think that I have some kind of vivid imagination and a life that warrants storytelling and poetry. I imagine that these words could somehow carry weight. I could build grand structures on the back of an imaginary life that I could see myself living over and over again. I imagine all of this, but I know that isn't the case. See, I know that I end a lot of poems with the phrase, I know that this phrase is nothing but an easy escape, a temporary departure from this world, one that teeters between monstrous and mundane. I know that I'm still sitting here afraid to leave, and I know how lonely that could feel. I know the world that sits outside of my bedroom door, and I know that I can end poems thinking about everything that isn't true. I play with reality like I know so little that it may seem childish, but it isn't. More than anything, I know myself. How much I want the world to not hurt. How much I want to try. How much I try. I may never seem to create anything that could be worth a single second of human life. I know all of this, but I like to imagine it anyway. That's my first one.
Yay! I'm ready if you want me to go.
Do you want to just like go back and forth?
Yeah, because I mean I have like two things.
Okay.
So this is part of my project that I'm working on, and yeah, so I'm just gonna leave it like that. It's called The Walk. I am not athletic. So not athletic that I threw up violently in an outside trash can after a quarter-mile run during my 6th-grade gym class. I am not necessarily out of shape per se, but you will never, ever, ever see me with the overachievers like Dad, who would wake up at the ass crack of dawn so they could get their, quote, 10 miles in before going to work. But as much as I do not understand the concept of exerting your body so much that your boobs are hitting you in the face, or why you would want every jiggly part of your body to be moving up and down with every stride you take, I'm always down for a good walk. Calliope loves to run. She sprints across our backyard when she's bored or so full of energy she can't handle it. She tries to get me to run when we go on our walks on most days, but when we go to Homedale Park, it's different. We both know we are there for a reason, and she keeps up with my pace. We're searching for something, anything that reminds us of him. She was there that day, at that place, on that morning where there were no clouds to be found in the sky. The sun was opening its arms wider than ever to welcome him home, and no one knew it. The air was crisp and the dew had not yet burnt off the cars that waited for their owners in the parking lot. For the army green Jeep Wrangler sitting alone long after the race ended, his owner never returned. Runners are a different kind of species. They enjoy buying sneakers and sweating with other people. They enjoy pounding their feet into the pavement, the feeling of their muscles and their legs contorting. They are very much aware of the importance of bulking up before a big race by eating a copious amounts of pasta. But above all, they love when they hit that sweet spot where your body becomes air and your legs just float forward and you can no longer hear anything but the rhythm of your own breathing. It is almost euphoric, better than any psychedelic drug, Dad had said. Homedale Park's trees are different than any other trees in the entire world. No, I am not exaggerating. They are not real. They are part of a painting that you could walk through. Someone has stretched the tall, pristine weeds that sway gently in the wind with colored pencils, and the small crack veins that travel through the walking paths are outlined in the finest of black paint. The trails, I hope, lead me to some kind of message from him, but I know they won't. The branches of the trees wrap around each other like lovers dancing to the song of the cool breeze that seems to always be there. The roots intertwine under the footpaths, becoming an entanglement of memory and time. The bowl, as people call it, looks like someone sat in the middle of this canvas painting and made a dent into it. The trails bend, twist, and kink in some spots, but it opens to a beautiful valley full of yellow wildflowers. They are a sign of relief since the trail is so steep you have to walk sideways in some parts. I drive up the northernmost point of the park every time I go, and I feel like I'm at the top of the world, above the treetops, a little closer to heaven or whatever the afterlife there is. But most importantly, I am closer to him. As his Jeep Wrangler curves up the steep hill to that same parking spot waiting for me, Calliope shifts her weight in the passenger seat, her nose pressed against the glass. We both know why we do this every year. I hope she sees him, but she has never told me. Should I continue? There's a little more. Yeah, I'll finish it. Fall is the best time to go to Homedale Park. The oranges, reds, and browns are so vibrant it is almost blinding, and as I get Calliope out of the car and hook her leash to her harness, she throws her head back and takes a deep breath of the familiar. The smell of the dirt is rich like good, fresh pressed coffee, and the benches surrounding the perimeter of the walking trail welcomes me to take a seat, even though I hadn't started my walk yet. We walk towards one of them. The sun that is peeking through the trees reflects off the metal plaque on it. Calliope is smelling the mysteries of the land I can't, and when we walk over, I try to get a glimpse if there is a letter, a note waiting for me on that bench, but there is not. It's just his name greeting me. Robert Van Cleef didn't wait for the perfect moment. He took the moments and made them perfect. We both sit down. Homedale Park is not a real place, even though you can Google it. It is a Narnia of trees and creatures that hide under rocks and in between the cracks of molded earth. For me, it is as close to being with him that I have left. He runs through those woods when no one is looking. He sits through those trees and looks down at the many runners, walkers, families who take a break at his bench and look around at the beauty of the park, the peacefulness of nature wrapping itself around them as they leave their footprints in the ground. His breath is the wind. His heartbeat is now the pounding of the feet I hear behind me as I walk the trails he did. And as I follow the same strides he took, I hope every time I turn a bend, I see him waiting for me. That's it.
That was very nice.
Thank you.
Did you like the thing where I disappeared from the other stream?
I didn't look at the other stream.
That's I'm offended.
I was looking at the words.
What should I do next?
Mine was long, so I don't know if I should go again.
Do you want me to? Okay, but which one should I do next?
Oh, thanks, Joan. While you're waiting, I'll find.
Do I want to do something fun?
I don't have anything fun. All my stuff is sad.
Okay, then I'll do something fun. Okay, so I wrote a play accidentally, and this is one of the poems from it. It's called "The Things That Living Is For." Bubbles, cats, garbage bins, trampolines, those little Triscuit cracker things that always get stuck inside your teeth, decorative garden gnomes, smashing decorative garden gnomes with a baseball bat on a bicycle. It's the feeling of finding a human for the first time and, really just finding them. The moment where your eyes connect and you could feel this auto bodily response akin to falling from a building, but you're not falling, and that feeling's only in your stomach, and then your body tightens, and that feeling is both super rare, but beyond human. And it's so very much living. Like, honestly, if living was just that feeling all of the time, that would suck. But once in a while I feel it, it's just an absolute delight. Where were we? Right, finding the things it means to live for. Go-karts, that spot where the ocean meets land, trampolines, kittens, which are a lot like cats but smaller and therefore better for some reason. Living is for all of these things. But mostly, you live for yourself. Thank you.
I'm clapping. You just couldn't see my hands because I have none. I mean, I have hands. I have hands. I just am holding things. I do have a poem that I found. Because
Ooh.
I don't write poems, but I don't think I've ever shared this poem, so I could do that. And then we can maybe talk about our open mics and how that works.
Sure.
Ready?
Oh, okay. Thank you, Joan.
Joan's the best. She's the biggest fan. One of my biggest fans. All right, ready? Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. This is called My Experience. This is from, I was TAing in a nonfiction class, undergrads, baby undergrads, and they were like, they had to write a whole personal essay on like their experience with like money, their experience with fear, death, whatever. And so my teacher's like, you should do one too, Sarah. And I was like, oh, okay. But I wrote a poem instead of writing a personal essay because I didn't have the time. So here we go. I'm not gonna tell you what the experience is. I guess you'll just have to figure it out. My experience. I want to hide you between the 2x4s of my old bungalow home, where the tide would come in close enough to reach the doorstep. Shove you between the seat cushions of the love seat under the bed and every cookie jar that doesn't have cookies in it. I want to wrap you in 3 to 4 dozen sheets of saran wrap, place you in the back of the freezer between hot dog buns and half-eaten quarts of ice cream that I swore I'd finish. I want to find you again like a time capsule in the middle of the backyard, buried in an old tin container that's rusted. I want to see you looking up at me like an ancestor I haven't seen, like a father who has been forgotten, your welcoming smile proud, bones now ash, your impression now mineral in the ground. I want to lock you in a box at the bank and watch you grow, raise you till maturity. When I become too weak to care for you, I will let you go to someone else, someone that I trust. But I'll tell them to love you, but not hold on to you too tight. But most importantly, I'll tell them to never let you go.
Oh, that's so nice.
It's just about money.
I know it's about money, but it's so nice. All right, I'm going to do a stupid short one because I feel like I have enough time to.
Okay.
This is a stupid short one. Hey, Sarah.
Yeah.
How do you feel about lightning?
It's okay.
Do you
I like to sleep.
Do you think it's pretty?
It's okay. Yeah, it's pretty, I guess.
Because I find it striking.
I hate you. I hate you. I hate you.
It's the worst thing I've ever wrote.
No, that wasn't not the worst thing you wrote. I've heard the worst thing you've ever wrote.
Is it the bubble one?
Yes.
Love that poem. All right.
No, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I was just joking.
All right. So, with this said, we have a bunch of events coming up throughout August and June. Well, the end of June and July. Hold on, because I'm going to move us ever so slightly so I can see where they are.
I have them written down.
Oh, perfect.
Because I'm actually a lot more prepared than I say. I just wasn't prepared with my own work.
I'm on my calendar, so like I have it.
You're like leaning on it.
No, like
I have it handwritten.
It's a desk calendar, so.
Oh, because you're so professional.
Because I'm an adult.
All right, so I'll just tell you. I could just tell you.
Go for it. Hit us with what's coming up.
All right. So, like I said before, July 12th is going to be the persuasive academic discussion sort of lesson. So, if anybody wants to come to that, if you have work and you want to send it to me early, I can always throw my email up.
I'll share it. I'll share it for you.
We could share it. It'll be exciting. Everybody will
I
have my
got you.
email. Do not send me any spam, please. Anyway,
Sarah, I'll send it.
then
I'll send them your business email.
yes, business email is good. No personal email. Anyway, um, or that's fine too. Whatever. Then July 26th, we're gonna do the ins and outs of SAT prep, what to expect on a standardized test. That'd be for all my teens out there who are anxiously wanting to not take the SAT.
Don't know what that's like. Fell asleep during the SATs. Did great.
I didn't take the SAT, but I taught SAT prep for many a years, so I can understand the struggle. I took the what is that? The pre SAT. I took that. That was anxiety ridden enough.
I
Thank you.
think I fell asleep during that too.
Yeah. Well, not all of us can be the prodigy. Okay. Cool. Anyway, then August 9th, we're gonna do creative writing, poetry, personal essay, discussion reading, maybe a little workshop. It's kind of the prep for the fall classes. And we also do adult and teen classes in the fall. So even if you're not like a experienced writer or you just kind of want to like venture a new hobby, Joan, you can definitely jump in on that. There's not a lot of reading, Joan, so don't worry. You can do this.
Sign up for poetry, Joan. I'm adorable.
And then August 23rd, we're going to do a panel discussion with a few English majors on being an English major and what's the importance of being an English major. What can you do with this degree? Because people are like, why should I be an English major? I should go be, pre-med, and everyone's going to become a nurse. And I don't want to be a nurse. I want to be an English teacher. So we're not going to talk about being a nurse. We're going to talk about being an English
Who
major.
hurt you?
Nobody hurt me.
Was it a nurse? I feel like you were hurt.
Everybody wants to be a nurse. And I'm like, I don't want to be a nurse. I don't want to know about the medical field. I haven't know enough. Thank you.
Okay.
Here's my blood. Anyway.
That's a phlebotomist. That's a whole different job.
I mean, but you know what? Nurses are great. I have a lot of nurse friends and like yay to nurses. I mean, they did a very good job in the COVID. I'm just, I'm not bashing nurses. I'm just saying I don't want to be a nurse. I'm just saying.
Moving on. Next
Anyway, we're going to also be doing open mics. Both hopefully in person and virtual. So keep an eye on that. And yeah, that's all we're going to be doing.
The virtual and in-person open mics will be open, have featured artists. On top of that, the first Tuesday of every month is our featured artist of the month. There's a podcast. You can listen to it. You can watch it. You can catch up on it. You can submit your work on secondrentarts.com. The fall summer registration opens in about 2 weeks, not even. And it's gonna be great.
It's gonna be great. I'm excited. Are you excited, Sam? I'm so super excited about it. And you can hear more about us,
Yeah, I feel like this was fun, Sarah. Although
this was a lot more fun, and I was like, even though I got nervous about the nurse.
Sarah, stop saying nurse. You're gonna hurt someone's feelings. Sarah's out here just bashing nurses and attacking our heroes.
Should I just talk about chemistry people instead? Is that okay?
Okay. Tune in. We'll do this again probably in July. I feel like it's gonna be fun. If you want to do this again, Sarah.
Absolutely. Maybe I'll not bash people this time.
See? Joan gets it. All right. Tune in next time. It's gonna be a blast.
Bye, Joan. Thanks for coming.
My name is Sam Rubinstein.
And I'm Sarah.
And this was Meet the Teachers.
Yeah.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.